This morning we've come to the other side of Palma, so we're the opposite side, on the east side of Palma. We had a bit of a storm yesterday, mostly wind, not much rain, but it's certainly freshened up the sea, so we're going to have a look to see what the waves are like. People out surfing there. On the opposite side of the road from where we are at the moment, there's the Palacio de Congreso, a big congress centre used for exhibitions. It's usually very busy throughout the year. This year it's not been quite so busy, and so some of the space has been taken over by the local hospital to house coronavirus patients. And the hotel is just on the right, further down. So we're walking towards Portixol now, and there are some beachside cafes here. They're not open yet, but chairs are out, tables are out, so I'm guessing they'll be open a little bit later on in the day. It's not often we see the sea like this in Mallorca, so this is quite spectacular, and the surfers who are out there really enjoying this. Great waves, really quite big. The newspaper said expect waves up to 4 meters. I'm not sure we've got waves that big, but I've just seen one or two really good waves where a couple of the surfers have caught them, and they're obviously having a great time. This is not a part of Palma we come to very often, so don't really come along here, but there's lots of eateries that you could go to, and they all seem as though they are open. And they're likely to be, because there's a lot of people who live around this area, so there's a lot of locals to use them. Don't rely totally on tourists, so that's looking pretty good. One of the things we've been very concerned about in the Mediterranean is the amount of plastic pollution, and here just on the beach I can see masses and masses of plastic, some big, some small, lots of microplastic that's polluting the shoreline here. But this view is quite amazing. Looking back towards Palma, towards the cathedral in the distance, Navigator up on the hill, and the rolling waves coming into the shore here. It's quite a beautiful sight, and there's one or two other photographers here this morning taking photographs of this. Got a seawall here with the waves coming crashing in, and those waves are pretty big actually out there. Bigger than you think. Very turbulent sea, and some of the waves are actually breaking 200, 300 meters offshore. So this is the port of Portixol, and much more tranquil here, protected from the waves outside the sea walls. The boats here are quite protected. I did read this morning that in Puerto Portals the sea went up and down by more than a meter in a very short time yesterday, and a number of boats were damaged. Hopefully not too many boats there or here have been damaged. So we've just been walking along by the side of the port here to our right, and we've come to what would normally be somewhere where you could actually walk across, but the water's a little bit high here today. There are some stepping stones there, but the stepping stones are actually submerged today, so it just shows how high the water's come. We don't have a tide as such in the Mediterranean. There is no tide, so this is all due to the high and low pressures of the atmosphere, so it's a bit high today, the water. That's quite interesting, because we've just had to walk back a little way to get up to the road, and now the stepping stones are quite visible, and some of them are actually out of the water. So just in that very short time there has been a change in the water level. So this is the port of Portixol. Lots of little boats here, not so many big ones. There's a few bigger ones on the outside, and then the Hotel Portixol on the headland over there. And on this side we've got a few shops and bars, and 1 or 2 restaurants as well. This is a popular route with cyclists. There is a cycle path that runs all along here for many kilometers, and the local ayuntamiento, the town hall, does provide these bicycles which you can hire. We've now walked around the headland past the Hotel Portixol. Port is to our right here, and we have another little bay and quite a few surfers out in the distance. So they're quite a long way offshore, maybe 300-400 meters offshore here, but you can start to see the size of the waves that are coming in, and there's a big group of surfers actually. There must be 10 or 20 surfers out there, just with their heads bobbling up and down, but there's some quite sizable waves coming in, and where we're standing, we've already seen some big ones crash on the rocks right in front of us. Quite exciting here.
Lots of people out there, aren't there?
Some bigger waves coming in now. I always find it exciting just to look at the sea and the amount of energy that's captivated in those waves. We walk along the promenade, you can see it's wet. It's not wet because it's been raining, it's wet because the sea is bringing up some splashes over here, and obviously it's been a bit bigger because you can see there's actually sand and other debris on the promenade, so the waves must have been even bigger than they are now at some point in the last few hours. Again, looking back towards the Hotel Portixol and beyond that to Palma, and here's the sea rushing in with the waves. The surfers are out there, and as we look around here, see the haze, which is just sea mist. It's just the wind that has blown up the sea. There isn't a lot of wind at the moment, but yesterday, particularly yesterday afternoon, it got really blustery, and that's what's caused these waves to be so excited. Very much a splash area here. The waves hit the sea wall, and the promenade here is very wet. Where my feet get wet. We just stopped for a coffee. We just come back, but the waves certainly haven't stopped. There's people out here taking photos and getting their feet wet as the waves splash up onto the promenade here. Surfers are still out, still catching the waves, and some really good waves out there. Some, yeah, a good 2-meter waves there. Fantastic. We used to go to Portugal a lot to take the scouts. Feet wet. Used to take the scouts to Portugal, and the waves here today are as good as the waves we've seen in Portugal. So this is quite something for Mallorca. I'm going to head back now towards our car, which is parked near to the cathedral, and if there's anything else interesting, I'll put the video back on. But if I don't put it back on, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and please subscribe. So just noticing one of the surfers coming out of the water now. Many more of them are still out there catching waves.